Welcome to Rapid Movie Recaps, the best darn place to get your movie rundown fix. Make sure to smash that subscribe button, annihilate the like button, and give that notification bell a good old ring-a-ding-ding. Don't forget to enable subtitles by clicking that fancy TC button. Oh, and while you're at it, why not show us some love and support by checking out our totally rad merchandise down below? Trust us, you won't regret it. The film kicks off with a sweeping view of a bustling downtown packed with towering skyscrapers. The camera then zooms in on a pristine penthouse nestled within one of these high-rise buildings. It's so neat and tidy, it seems like nobody even lives there. Meanwhile, the buzz of helicopter blades and radio chatter fills the air above the city. As the countdown ticks away, our main character, a cunning burglar named Nemo, lands on the roof. He slices through the security netting and sneaks inside, skillfully disabling the security system through a terminal. With only 7 minutes to spare, Nemo gets to work, enthusiastically snatching up luxury items and valuable art pieces. But there's a hiccup in his grand heist. He can't seem to find a self-portrait by Egon Schiele, an obscure Austrian painter. After radioing his accomplice for advice, Nemo checks the video installation room, but the painting is nowhere to be found. Figuring that something is better than nothing, he opts to escape with what he's got. But things go south when an issue in the security room or a wrong code triggers the alarm, leaving Nemo trapped inside. His partner abandons him to avoid getting caught himself. In a frenzy, Nemo attempts to shatter the glass door, but it's as tough as iron. He also tries hacking the terminal, but with no luck. Amid the blaring siren, he systematically destroys the flashing lights, plugs his ears, and hunts for the source of the noise to end his torment. Eventually, he succeeds, but the looming threat of police capture remains. As Nemo roams the luxurious apartment, he admires the lavish decor until he discovers a mysterious carved door. Armed with just a pocket knife, he struggles to pry it open. Meanwhile, the remnants of the digital brain crank up the heat. Desperate for a drink, Nemo finds the tap water has all but run dry. He then checks the fridge. A virtual assistant's voice chides him for the empty shelves, suggesting he restock. Exhausted from hammering on a locked door, Nemo collapses on the couch and tries to radio his partner again. Receiving no response, he helps himself to some vodka, stale cookies, and black caviar from the fridge, enjoying his impromptu feast in front of a glitchy TV that's connected to both cable channels and the building's security system. On one of the security screens, Nemo spots a guard. After spending the night in the owner's bedroom, he wakes up to the sound of a helicopter. Hoping it's come to rescue him, he rushes to the glass door and sees a pigeon caught in the net-covered terrace. After freshening up in the makeshift greenhouse lake, he tries contacting his partner through the radio and the phone, but both are disconnected. The work computer left behind by the owner on a business trip to Kazakhstan is also disconnected. Nemo tries to make the best of his confinement, using the bathroom and examining moldy oranges. He attempts to break the glass with the fruit, but it's no use. He notices a window high up on the ceiling, which he could potentially open or break. Nemo quietly stacks furniture to reach the window, hoping not to disturb anyone or trigger his own paranoia. During a break, an idea strikes him. He finds a buried garden hose in the greenhouse, but it's as dry as the rest of the water system. To quench his thirst, he resorts to sucking ice from the fridge. Using torn chair fabric, Nemo reinforces his makeshift tower and climbs it like a daring mountaineer. However, he falls just short of reaching the window and must descend to devise a new plan. Meanwhile, the smart house displays surveillance footage, and Nemo sees the maid eating lunch on the steps. When she leaves, he tries to adjust the thermostat for some relief, but his troubles don't end there. Food is running low, and his attempts to open cans without a can opener leave him with a cut hand. Desperate, Nemo cools off in the open fridge, the upbeat Macarena playing as a reminder that the door has been open too long. After finally opening the canned food, he eats and notices the trapped pigeon hiding from the rain. The following day, Nemo uses an art piece as a makeshift chisel to access the freezer full of supplies, meat, and canned dog food. Suddenly, he hears the sound of running water. The greenhouse sprinkler turns on automatically. He rushes over to drink and enjoy a brief shower while it lasts. The penthouse prisoner continues his search for an escape, dismantling curtains and flipping beds. He uses the materials to reinforce his makeshift salvation tower, which remains unsteady. Regardless, Nemo reaches the ceiling window, which appears as sturdy as the walls. Exhausted from the heat, he sketches in his notebook and watches a maid named Jasmine on the security cameras. She's just outside the front door, but her headphones block out any noise he makes. As he watches her leave and take the elevator, he doesn't immediately notice the smart home has switched to a cooler climate setting. Relieved by the cool air, Nemo cautiously celebrates, knowing the temperamental system could change again. The next morning, he collects water from the sprinkler system, filling bowls he left out overnight. He carefully transfers the water into a bottle to last a few more days. With his thirst quenched, even the intrusive Macarena doesn't bother him as much. Regaining his strength, Nemo explores the spacious apartment's unsearched rooms. He breaks a vase and uses the shards, protected glasses, and rags to secure himself. Climbing the tower, he begins chiseling the window frame. The next day, Nemo talks to himself while preparing a meal to stave off silence and hopelessness. He later watches local workers through the cameras, chatting with them as if they're old friends. He also sees Jasmine talking to someone. The window frame proves difficult to disassemble due to an iron nut that Nemo can't remove. To pass the time, he peers through a telescope at the unreachable city beyond the impenetrable glass. As the temperature drops, he tries to fix the control terminal, but his efforts are futile. The cooler climate forces him to sleep under a blanket. Days pass in a monotonous cycle of chiseling window frames and observing apartment complex employees through cameras. Bored and lonely, Nemo even strikes up a conversation with a trapped pigeon outside the glass. He asks the bird to fly to the park for help, but it can't find the hole it entered through. Nemo amusingly alters the wall pictures, adding glasses and horns to the people depicted. Later, after breaking into a wardrobe, he discovers a secret compartment behind the wall. Inside, he finds Sheila's hidden self-portrait and a rubber puppet of the house owner, lying with a book on its chest, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell by English poet William Blake, seemingly designed by the author himself. Taking the hidden treasures, Nemo returns to the apartment and finds a dead pigeon, his fellow captive. That evening, he sees Jasmine resting outside the door, but his attempts to make noise go unnoticed. Defeated, he goes to bed. Nemo dreams he's at an exhibition hosted by the apartment owner, where they discuss Sheila's paintings. He's distracted when he notices Jasmine among the guests. As his host announces his doom, Nemo drifts farther away, ascending a luminous staircase towards his awakening in the penthouse prison. At dawn, Nemo crafts a makeshift wrench from a chair leg to unscrew the nuts holding the glass. The attempt fails, and out of frustration, hunger, and despair, he catches and eats a fish from the aquarium. Uncertain of what else to do, Nemo draws on the walls with charcoal and tells himself jokes. Eventually, he creates a more advanced wrench, successfully unscrewing a couple of fasteners between him and freedom. As time passes, the chairs lose more legs, food dwindles, and Nemo's wall drawing grows larger. He creates a makeshift altar where he places the unscrewed nuts, symbolizing his progress towards liberation, along with the wall drawing. They form a single composition. Eventually, the climate control switches back to heating, and the heat returns. Nemo's actions slowly destroy the penthouse's fragile ecosystem, forcing him to use the dried-up pool as a makeshift toilet. Overwhelmed by hopelessness, he engages in throat singing, dressed in a bizarre costume found amidst the monotony of daily life. Nemo's vigilance wanes. After unscrewing another nut from the window, he loses balance and falls off the tower, breaking his leg. He was just 2 nuts away from freedom. With his remaining supplies, injured Nemo watches as flowers bloom outside the window. He imagines Jasmine standing next to the TV. She approaches and sits beside him, but never touches him, as she's a figment of his imagination. Nemo constructs a splint and waits for his leg to heal. When he sees the owner in the mirror, he realizes it's another hallucination. While lying down, Nemo notices fire alarm sensors on the ceiling. He shreds magazines and uses a magnifying glass to ignite them. He makes a torch and triggers the fire extinguishing system. Nobody comes to help, and the flood lasts long enough to be a nuisance. Nemo wanders in the water like the fish he's named after. In the next scene, snow falls outside, blanketing everything. He dictates a note to leave behind and sees the owner's daughter with her dog outside the window. Limping, Nemo approaches his makeshift altar of unscrewed nuts, worships it, and writes a message on the wall, apologizing for the mess and mentioning that he saved 3 art pieces from the flood. Nemo slowly climbs the tower. Glass falls from the frame, no longer held by the nuts. The camera pans through the apartment, cluttered by the thief, before stopping at the light shining through the window, symbolizing Nemo's rebirth as a sensible artist. The film ends, along with his imprisonment. Be sure to support the oh-so-talented creators and artists by watching the full movie at the link in the description below. Thanks for watching, and hey, while you're at it, smash that like button and subscribe for more rapid movie recaps that are just so much better than actually watching the whole movie. Wink, wink!